Unbeknownst to him, David had been invited by the rich man's daughter and was on his way to work as a private tutor. When the elevator opened, he saw Simi pushing the old lady down the stairs. He was so shocked that he almost fell down, and Simi saw what he was doing. David had to play it cool and pretend he didn't see anything. He went to the rich man's house and knocked on the door, but the rich man's daughter had already been called away by Simi, so there was no one to open the door for him. As the scene was getting awkward, someone finally found the old lady's body. The police concluded that the old lady fell to her death while watering the flowers on the balcony of her house. David rushed home in fear. He didn't realize that the old lady was silenced because she gave new evidence. He thought Simi had gone mad and was going to kill everyone involved in the case. He was terrified like never before. Then he called his girlfriend. He said he had something important to tell her and asked her to come to his home. But as soon as he hung up, there was a knock at the door. The person at the door was Simi. He was a bit scared inside. Simeon said she was organizing a memorial service for the tycoon and wanted to invite David to star in it, and she took out some freshly bought pastries and handed them to David. David had to eat it so as not to arouse her suspicion. The blind man was preparing coffee for Simi when he turned around and saw Simi wearing a mask. Apparently, Simi wanted to test his reaction. Luckily, David was mentally strong enough not to show any abnormality, but Simeon was still uneasy. In the next drink of coffee, she took out a bottle of unknown potion from her bag and blatantly poured it into his cup. David dared not drink it, but he couldn't let the other side see the cracks. He could only pluck up the courage to drink it. At that moment, he hurriedly excused himself to get some cookies, but on his way out, he deliberately knocked over the cup. But this made Simi sure of her suspicion. She immediately pulled out a gun and pointed it at David. Realizing that he had been exposed, David promised Simi that he wouldn't reveal their secret. Besides, everyone thinks he's blind, but Simi laughed out loud. She didn't seem to panic at all. She even told David the real reason for the tycoon's death. It turned out that it was Simi's birthday. In order to surprise her, the tycoon said he had to go on a business trip tomorrow, but Simeon took it seriously. When the tycoon came home the next day, she was shocked by what she saw. The rich man was killed by them. After listening to what Simeon said, David suddenly felt dizzy. It turned out that the pastries he had eaten were drugged, and Simeon was waiting for the drug to take effect. In a few moments, he began to sway from side to side. Eventually, he fell to the ground before he could escape. Soon after, his girlfriend arrived, but the boy downstairs stopped her. The boy claimed he had David's secret on his cell phone. When the girlfriend opened it, she found proof that David wasn't blind. It turned out that the boy had long felt that David's blindness was feigned, because once he found David's sunglasses fell down the stairs, but he picked them up like a normal person. And since David came home, the boy tied his cell phone to a bamboo pole and secretly recorded David's video. He was going to use the secret to earn some pocket money, but his girlfriend, after watching the video, ignored the boy and rushed upstairs. But when she knocked on the door, it was opened by Simi. When she saw this, she had a bad feeling. She rushed to the bedroom. When she saw David naked on the bed, she realized everything. Simeon apologized to his girlfriend. She said that David was very understanding and that she had acted on impulse. Her girlfriend laughed. She told him about the video she had just seen downstairs. David is not blind at all. Both of them were fooled by him. He's just a liar pretending to be blind. Simi immediately showed a look of surprise after hearing that, and his girlfriend left the place sad. The boy downstairs chased after him for money but was slapped by the woman. Soon the time came to night. When David woke up, he was horrified to find his eyes in darkness. He was suddenly in a cold sweat. He rushed into the bathroom and plunged into a bucket of water, but after rinsing his eyes repeatedly, he still didn't feel any light. He groped his way to the living room. Simeon was already waiting for him. She was relieved to see that David had become blind, but David was furious. He rushed over to fight with Simi. He threatened that if she didn't cure his eyes, he would expose her crimes. But Simeon didn't panic when she heard that, because no one would believe a blind man. If he really went to the police, he'd be asking for death. Then the woman left the house. Meanwhile, he found the boy downstairs and deleted the only evidence in the name of watching the video. And David in the room rushed to call his girlfriend and wanted her help, but his girlfriend was furious and broke up with him without listening to his explanation. David's last hope was dashed.